Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from Reuters. Now this was published on May 29th. It is written by Steve Holland and Michelle Nichols. Trump cutting U.S. ties with World Health Organization over virus. And I gotta say, this is a good fucking start because the UN goes counter to the United States, goes counter to an independent nation. It goes counter to our constitutionally guaranteed rights. It goes against our ideological beliefs. And we were the ones who set this up and allowed for this shit show to end up where it is today, to where it wants to be this authoritarian global government. And we need to get the hell away from it. And this is a good start. Because this is an extension of the UN. It's awesome. Anyway, let's get into the article here. The United States will end its relationship with the World Health Organization over the body's handling of the Wu flu pandemic, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Friday, accusing the UN agency of becoming a puppet of China. Because it is a puppet of China. It is literally a puppet of China. All right. The head of the organization, this part of the UN, is in the pocket of the CCP. He's a lying, cheating scumbag who hid cholera outbreaks in his own country. He lied about them and completely covered them up. He's in their pocket. He's buddy-buddy with Xi Jinping. All right? You know, we got Winnie the Pooh there. This guy would basically be like Piglet or some shit. They are a puppet of China also on the note of when they won't recognize Taiwan. I mean, that's pretty fucking obvious right there when they're sucking CCP dick on, you know, the whole Taiwan thing. That, yeah, they might be in the pocket. I mean, hell, when you have a representative of the World Health Organization, you know, being interviewed and asked a question about Taiwan, trying to play it like, oh, well, I didn't hear the question, and then hanging up when asked again about Taiwan. Yeah, there's something very shady going on, like, yeah. In China's pocket, maybe? Just a thought. Anyway, let's move on here. The move to quit the Geneva-based body, which the United States formally joined in 1948, comes amid growing tensions between Washington and Beijing over the Wu flu outbreak. The virus first emerged in China's Wuhan city late last year. Now, the thing is, we were a founding member of the UN and the World Health Organization and all that, and you have China coming in and trying, basically through influencing politicians by buying them off, or representatives, we should say, and bureaucrats within the UN, you know, buying them off. They've gained a lot of influence, and we're footing the bill for them to get what they want. So yeah, this is a good start, getting out of the World Health Organization. Speaking in the White House Rose Garden, Trump said Chinese officials ignored their reporting obligations to the WHO about the virus that has killed hundreds of thousands of people globally and pressured the agency to mislead the world, which is true. They did do that. I mean, you literally had the World Health Organization pushing CCP lies and propaganda about the whole situation, like, oh, you don't need to do this, oh, it's not easily transmittable this way, oh, it's not this, it's not that. And then, you know, when you have Taiwan going, hey, no, that's not the case, and they're going, shut the fuck up, Taiwan. Yeah, you know there's something going on. China has total control over the World Health Organization, despite it only paying $40 million per year compared to what the United States has been paying, which is approximately $450 million per year, he said. Yeah, because they're paying $40 million a year into the World Health Organization, but there's also millions of dollars behind the scenes that's getting slipped into the pockets of the bureaucrats and leaders within the organization. Trump's decision follows a pledge last week by Chinese President Xi Jinping to give $2 billion to the World Health Organization over the next 2 years to help combat the Wu flu. The amount almost matches the World Health Organization's entire annual budget for last year. Yeah, which goes to show you China's like, oh, we want to in our pocket even more. And they're blatantly and openly doing this, and they're going to try to use it as a PR situation. Look at the money we're giving, when this is to buy them off. Literally, this is them openly buying off the World Health Organization and trying to use it as a publicity windfall for them, a PR windfall. Trump last month halted funding for the 194-member organization, then in a May 18th letter gave the WHO 30 days to commit to reforms. Yeah, and of course, because they got Chinese money, being thrown their way, they're like, oh, fuck you. Oh, what's the U.S. going to do? Well, this is what happens when you actually have a president who will do something. We pull out of the World Health Organization. Fuck off. Yeah, deal with the fact of, that $450 million, you ain't getting it anymore. Sit and spin. They honestly thought that they would keep getting it, I'm sure. It just makes sense, Because they have failed to make the requested and greatly needed reforms, we will be today terminating our relationship with the World Health Organization and redirecting those funds to other worldwide and deserving urgent global public health needs, Trump said on Friday. Damn straight. That works for me. We have more control over that money. It's not just being handed to the World Health Organization and spent on shit that they want to spend it on that isn't necessarily a priority. We get to decide where that money goes. And we should be deciding where that money goes in the first place. It's our fucking money. It was not immediately clear when his decision would come into effect. A 1948 joint resolution of Congress on U.S. membership of the World Health Organization said the country reserves its right to withdraw from the organization on a 1-year notice. We can just pull the fuck out. We don't have to, this 1-year notice shit, we can literally just say we're not going to be a part of it. We'll give them the notice. If they want to say we're in a year, fuck them. I don't give a shit. I don't think a lot of Americans would, with how they screwed this up. The World Health Organization did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Trump's announcement. It had previously denied Trump's assertions that promoted Chinese disinformation about the virus. Well, of course it did. They got caught serving as CCP shills. Of course they're going to deny that. Jojo the Idiot Circus Boy is smart enough to know you deny. Come on now. It is important to remember the World Health Organization is a platform for cooperation among countries, said Donna McKay, Executive Director of Physicians and Human Rights. Okay, if that was the case, actually, and in reality, then the World Health Organization wouldn't be doing the CCP's bidding. It wouldn't be basically covering for them and then expecting the United States to keep funding them when they're saying, look, you got to cut this shit. It wouldn't do that. Walking away from this critical institution in the midst of a historical pandemic will hurt people both in the United States and around the world. Well, you know what? America first. America is for Americans. And we should be, that $450 million, we could spend that on, shit, things related to the pandemic in this country. I mean, that makes sense. Why should we be sending that abroad? China said, "Oh, we're going to give you $2 billion over 2 years. We'll take the $450 million and spend it which way we want. We'll spend it on Americans. Works for me." Absolutely critical. You gotta love that. All quotes. All caps in quotes. The United States currently owes the WHO more than $200 million in assessed contributions, according to the WHO website. Washington also gives several $100 million annually in voluntary funding tied to specific WHO programs such as polio eradication, HIV, hepatitis, and tuberculosis. Well, here's the thing. They can go pound sand and go fuck themselves on the $200 million. They say we owe $200 million. I say we don't owe shit. Because we pulled out. If they think we're going to pay that, they can go fuck themselves. All right? There's a dispute over services rendered, so to speak. If they think they're going to get paid, even though they didn't do their damn job, they're in for a rude awakening, or at least they should be in for that type of rude awakening and get stiffed. All right? And this idea of, such as polio eradication. Polio is pretty much gone in the world, number one. In a lot of cases where this UN program has gone, with the Gates Foundation involved in it, has gone and given the polio shots to. Conveniently, paralysis, one of the things that is part of polio, is a side effect of the polio vaccination, but it's not giving you polio. But okay, whatever. So yeah, And then this HIV, hepatitis, and tuberculosis. Well, with HIV and hepatitis, for the most part, all right. Now, hepatitis a little more so, not as specific as this, but you get the general idea. As long as you're not having unprotected gay truck stop sex while shooting heroin, your odds of AIDS and hepatitis are going to be very, very low. Just saying. Tuberculosis, I mean, we now are having antibiotic resistant forms of it. So it's going to be around, but it's nearly gone. This isn't a first world problem, it's a third world problem. And I understand that, but it doesn't cost that much in the grand scheme to deal with tuberculosis when it's not as big of a thing as they're trying to make it out here. Amesh Adalja, a senior scholar at Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, said that, in practice, Trump's decision was unlikely to change the operation of the World Health Organization because they're funded right now. From a symbolic or moral standpoint, it's the wrong type of action to be taking in the middle of a pandemic and seems to deflect responsibility for what we in the U.S. failed to do to blame the WHO, said Adalja. Excuse me? They lied. They literally lied. And we should sit there and stick with them when they lied to us and when they basically pushed CCP bullshit? Are you kidding me? And this is the right time to be doing it from a symbolic and moral standpoint. When they're leading you down the path to where you get fucked during the pandemic. Because the CCP has a lot of the bureaucrats in the organization in their back pockets. Symbolically, right now, and morally, you say, we're going to stop following you, we're going to do our own thing, fuck off and die. Because that caused the deaths of Americans. Or it led to the deaths of Americans, would be more accurate. Oh, you don't need to shut down travel, even though Trump did, and they're going, oh, he's being racist. That's not going to that's not how, that won't help. Fighting the pandemic was what the World Health Organization was saying on shutting down travel at first. When Trump shut down travel to and from China. This is ridiculous. When Trump halted funding to the World Health Organization last month, two Western diplomats said the U.S. suspension was more harmful politically to the World Health Organization than to the agency's current programs, which are funded for now. Yes, exactly. That's a political hit for them. That is like an optics situation where they don't look good. Because it brings to light, what happened. Because it's like, well, we stopped the funding because of this. So now people are looking at the World Health Organization going, oh, damn, you shady fuckers. It does not look good for them. The World Health Organization is an independent international body that works with the United Nations. That is a complete mischaracterization of the World Health Organization. It is part of the United Nations. The United Nations has direct oversight over it. It runs independently, but ultimately the UN can dictate what the fuck it can and cannot do. You dishonest pieces of shit. You literally let UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres say last month that it. Wait, you're misrepresenting. I'm sorry, I missed the period there. But anyway, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said last month that the WHO is absolutely critical to the world's efforts to win the war against Wu flu. If that was the case, they wouldn't have been fucking lying from the start. Are we going to be able to trust this organization to not ride the CCP dick and be honest? No, that's impossible. When the guy who runs the fucking organization is buddy-buddy with Xi and clearly in his back pocket, we can't trust shit from the World Health Organization when they literally push the CCP agenda with, say, not recognizing Taiwan and pulling the shit that they did when asked about Taiwan. We can't trust them when Taiwan is ringing alarm bells and raising red flags. And they're going, nothing to see here with Taiwan. Can we trust them? Of course not. That's exactly what happened, though, when Taiwan's telling the World Health Organization, China's full of shit. This is what's going on. This is what we found. And they're going, shut the fuck up, Taiwan. You can't win a war when you get the CCP running it unless we're winning the war that they want. When asked about Trump's decision, a UN spokesman said, "We have consistently called for all states to support the World Health Organization." Well, yes, because you know what? You bureaucrats wouldn't be able to sit on your ass, take the expensive trips that you do, live the lifestyle that you do, eating the expensive meals that you do, if it wasn't for the fact of every fucking nation throwing money into the organization so that you can live high off the fucking hog. Now, if you had to live like the rest of us, heaven forbid, oh God, that would be... what, beneath you? It'd be torture. It would be so hard that you couldn't handle it. You poor fucking babies. That's what you want. It's a corrupt organization. You look at the trips that these scumbags take. You look at the money that they spend on lodging and travel and food and everything else. And you're like, fuck me, they're living like millionaires. Because that's what's literally being spent to cover their expenses. Millions of dollars. These people act like they're fucking rich. And they're fucking... middle-rate fucking bureaucrats who fell into jobs that have so much graft in them that they're able to live like they do. Trump has long scorned multilateralism as he focuses on an America First agenda. Since taking office, he has quit the UN Human Rights Council. Yes, because, oh, let's see, you have Middle Eastern countries who drop gay people off of roofs and stone women who were raped, you know, and shit like that, all right, running the Human Rights Council alongside China, who, you know, takes Uyghurs and throws them in fucking concentration camps and shit. Yeah, and they go, oh, they're training camps. They're employment training camps. So what if they can't, you know, the barbed wire's facing in and the fences are electrified and, you know, they're tortured and beaten. So what? That's why we left the Human Rights Council. And then the UN Cultural Agency, a global accord to tackle climate change, and the Iran nuclear deal. So we got out of the Paris Accords because it did not benefit the United States and was designed to drain the wealth of the United States. It was designed to turn us into a third world fucking power, okay, by draining our wealth. Well, China gets to pollute and the third world gets to be developed, okay, and pollute all they fucking want. This is ridiculous. He has also cut funding for the UN Population Fund and the UN agency that aids Palestinian refugees. So, okay, the UN Population Fund. Oh, so basically he said, we're not going to pay for population control. Okay, I'm fine with that. Because that's, if I remember correctly, what that one of the goals of that particular thing is. This is ridiculous anyway. Almost done. The WHO is the world's early warning system for infectious disease, said U.S. Representative Nita Lowey, a Democrat who chairs the House Committee on Appropriations. Now, during a global pandemic that has cost over 100,000 American lives, it is not the time to put the country further at risk. And you know what? Guess what, bitch? If China didn't have the UN in its pocket, didn't hide the fucking shit that was going on, didn't stop travel within its own country, but allow people to leave the country and infect the rest of the fucking world, all right, you know what? There wouldn't have been 100,000 deaths. There would have been far less at this point because, you know, hey, but let's just follow the World Health Organization, whose China has in its back pocket. Let's just do that. Real fucking smart. Because you know what? Democrats, most of them, they've taken money from the CCP over the years. For fuck's sake, that is how we ended up with Bill Clinton during his presidency, opening the doors for China to end up with all our manufacturing and everything else, because they bribed all the Democrats that they could get their hands on, and the neocons, you know, wannabe conservatives on the Republicans. They took money for that shit. Do you think they're not going to stop defending China having their little fucking shit going on when they've made money off them? Of course not. This is ridiculous. It really is. This is some fucked up shit that, like, they're trying to portray it like, if we leave the World Health Organization, the sky's going to fall. It isn't, because we can still share with other nations. We can, you know, information and everything else. We don't have to be a part of the World Health Organization for that. We don't have to be a part of the UN for that. Cooperation is cooperation, whether it's in the UN or out of it. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.